This is my song about with what you put in, you get out. You for welfare if you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning to Radio Land. Good morning to our viewers. It is a great honor to be here this morning on another edition of Health Talk. On today's edition of Health Talk, we will be talking about youth and health. Most young people are healthy. However, more than 1.9 million young people aged 15 to 24 die each year. A much greater number of young people suffer from illnesses which hinder their ability to grow and develop to their full potential. And still, a great number of young people engage in behavior that jeopardize not only their current state of health, but often their health for years to come. It is estimated that nearly 2/3 of premature death and 1/3 of total disease burden in adults are associated with conditions or behavior that begin in their youth, including tobacco use, lack of physical activity, unprotected sex, or exposure to violence. Promoting healthy practices during teenage and taking steps to better protect young people from risks of critical to the future of our country, health and infrastructure, and to prevent or the prevention of health problems in adulthood. Our topic for today's presentation is youth and health. We'll talk about challenges that youth face, especially when it comes to their health. Stay tuned because this is our focus for today's presentation. We have our guest panelists in studio that will take us through this all-important topic. To our viewers, we invite you to please be part of this show by simply calling our number 0770-107-107, 0886-107-107, or interact with us on our Facebook page, Mamoa Lumen Health Talk Platform. Please do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Mamoa Lumen Health Talk Platform. To our international viewers, if you are watching us live, you can also be part of the show by calling our WhatsApp number +231 880 571-223. That's our WhatsApp number. So sit back, relax, and learn from this educating health talk. Coming to you just after a short break. I am Mamoa Lumen, and this is Health Talk.
This is my song about with what you put in, you get out. You for welfare if you.
Welcome back to today's edition of Health Talk. The Mamoa Lumen Health Talk Platform is a 1-hour program that discusses a wide range of health-related issues. We bring you face-to-face with health professionals and provide you with causes, signs and symptoms, complications, and preventions of diseases and illnesses affecting us in our respective community. On today's edition of Health Talk, we will be talking about youth and health. And I have with me in studio our dynamic guest panelists that will take us through this all-important topic. Our panelist comprises of Mr. Abdoulaye Souare. Mr. Souare is a certified floor examiner, a senior tax auditor, and financial analyst. Mr. Souare is a retired student leader and a renowned community organizer. He is currently the head coach of Liberia's biggest outdoor exercise club located at Benson Street, right adjacent the U.S. Embassy. Mr. Souare, welcome to Health Talk.
Thank you, I'm honored.
Okay, next to him or far from him is Mr. J.Y. Amos Bade. Mr. Bade is a graduate of the United Methodist University in political science and sociology. He also graduated from the University of Nairobi in global strategic management with emphasis in project management. A graduate of East African Institute of Certified Study Professional Certificate, Kenyan Institute of Management Strategic Leadership Professional Certificate, PhD student at the University of Nairobi, and a student at Cottington Graduate School reading public health care and management. Welcome to Health Talk.
It's a pleasure as well.
Next to him is our beautiful lady, Miss Ilan Marie Reese. Miss Reese is a human resource assistant at at Easy Solar Liberia. She is the host of the web series Yana on Heritage TV, Liberia Heritage. Welcome to Health Talk.
Thank you very much.
So thank you so much, guys. Thank you for being here this morning with us to discuss this all important topic. First of all, let us start with Amos. Amos, we starting with you because I don't know. Congrats again for all that so many to be on
Thank you so much.
So we're talking about youth and health, but before we go into TUT, we just want to know, why is health important for youth?
Actually, health is a global issue, and it plays a very important role on our well-being. And not necessarily, it could be physical, it could be mental, it could be psychological. Now, for a person to actually function well, they must have a proper health. So we hold to believe that in this case, our health matters most. And what we do, the environment in which we find ourselves, places a very serious emphasis on our health. So in this case, there is nothing you can do without actually attaining a good health. So health is a driving force towards whatsoever we do, what we want to achieve, what our visions, our aspiration is in life. It depends on our health. And this is what we have said over time, that health is life. So we believe that this is a very cardinal pillar of the MDG, which comes in the second major pillar, that health is a concern that has to do with our entire body. So we're looking at it from a holistic standpoint, the psychological and that of the social being of the person.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that vivid explanation. Indeed, health is very important to our youth, to ourselves in society, right? So let us move to Mr. Soare. Mr. Soare, we're talking about youth and health, and normally when we're talking about youth and health, I believe that when we refer to youth, we're talking about people under the age of 35. For the Liberian context, when we talk about youth, who are we referring to?
Well, I'm not too sure we want to go outside of the conventional definition of youth when we're talking about Liberia. Well, basically, we still use the same conventional definition, 35, between 18 to 35. But basically, the topic youth and health, these are two distinct topics that are so important to us. Young people, you are at the prime of your life. That's when you set the basis for whatever you want to achieve. And your health is the fuel that must move the wheels of your body. So blending these two topics it sends a bigger message that this platform have got things to really prioritize. So we believe that as a young person, your health, there is a popular maxim that says health is wealth. Without good health, you do nothing. Without good health, you will not go to school, you will not achieve all of your ambitions, all of your dreams and realities. So for us, that is the reason why for us, we tend to, at the level of the Six Pack Fitness and Athletic Club, of which I'm the head coach, we prioritize your health and your wellness. Physical exercise is that which you need to prepare you mentally. Like my brother rightly stated, you need a mental well-being, you need a physical well-being.
Sure.
Somebody says if you can't build a house, just build your body.
Of course.
Yeah.
So that's true indeed. If you can build your house, build your body indeed. So let's move to our lady in studio, Miss Ellen Reese. Yana. So we're talking about youth and health today. And when we talk about youth and health, we also trying to talk about healthy lifestyles. How can we describe a healthy lifestyles for you?
Well, first of all, I think as a young person, you're supposed to understand your body. So growing up, majority of the time you see a lot of people saying, oh, I'd rather go to the hospital. And you think that's a good thing. Going to the hospital doesn't necessarily mean you have to be sick before you go there.
Sure.
You need to understand how your body works, and you need to understand what you have to eat, what food is good for certain purposes to make your body stronger. Because as my colleague rightly said, whatever you do now determines how you're gonna be when you get older, and people tend to ignore that, but that is a very important fact. So let me just give an example of what needs to be incorporated. I just want to say this because I think a foundation needs to be set so that people have a clearer understanding of the importance of a healthy lifestyle and how it is important to a young person's life. So first of all, when I was in the 4th grade, my mom was shocked when I was taught about the reproductive system in my menstrual cycle. That was in the Gambia. I think that is not incorporated in the education system here in Liberia. And I think that is very important because you know what? right after we were taught that, majority of my classmates started saying their period. And normally you see girls, when they start to bleed, they get really scared and start crying because they don't really understand.
Of course.
And they were aware, so they knew exactly what to do. They didn't have to go through the pep talk with parents, oh, this is normal and this is natural, because we already learned it in school in 4th grade. Great choices as to whether to have a baby by choice or baby by chance.
Wow.
And I noticed that a lot of grown-up people here don't really understand their menstrual cycle. And we have to make use of our social media, our smartphones is very important. There are apps that can track those things. So what I'm trying to say is a healthy lifestyle is every young person's business. I went to the gym. I'm very tiny, as you can see. I went to the gym and everybody's like, what are you trying to prove? It's not wrong, or else PE will not be incorporated in the education system in schools. You need to be physically fit. You don't have to be fat or something like that. And also another thing young people need to understand is that normally here in Liberia, saying that, oh, I'm fat or I'm getting fat is a compliment. You should understand that you need to know your weight and it should match with your age.
Of course.
They have to correspond. If not, you're not healthy. So that's just some of what I understand. And I think it's very important that we do regular checkup.
Thank you so much. Indeed, you need to understand your weight, and you don't just see yourself getting fat and you say, maybe I'm living a very good lifestyle. You have to practice a very healthy way of living, because in doing so, we have a healthy future and we have a healthy generation. So let us move back to Amos. Amos, looking at our current status now in Liberia, can you please explain some psychological effect of COVID-19 on young people, especially Liberian young people?
Well, actually, when you try to do an analysis of the effects of COVID, you understand that there have been some good, there have also been some bad. Now, with respect to the issue of the COVID, now, Ebola sets the pace for us to actually deal with COVID. And it was a situation that we were not actually strange. It was not a strange phenomenon to us again, because we understood how to wash our hands. We understood social distances. We understand basically. So with respect to all of these various kinds of situations, it put us in a position to at least handle the situation, not as where we were all novice to the entire process, but at that moment it was a strange phenomenon, because it was a different kinds of virus. That attack was so different to us than that of the Ebola crisis. So what I think we must do, and this is a global issue, that you look at the issue of Ebola. Ebola was a bit it affected the world, but our very low margin. But when you look at the issue of COVID hit the entire world on the world, and the entire world got at its knee. You understand? And it became so psychological on us, because you can have an interaction with your family, your loved one, your relatives, everyone whom afraid that you'll be the next person or next victim of the process. So it was so psychological, but mind you now, because we are in the know of the process, it allowed us to prevent ourselves. So even with respect to what have happened in Liberia, the death rate, the infection, mode of transmission, was not something actually strange to us. So I think we must appreciate the fact that we have learned from the devastations, the effects of Ebola, which actually gave us an impetus of how do we deal with the issue of COVID. Because if it was a situation that actually we knew nothing about, then, man, you know, it would have been a different story.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, it would actually been a different story. But it was good that some experiences are also good.
Okay, indeed.
Yeah.
So experiences teaches us how to do our next move. Exactly. So Mr. Soare, we're talking about youth and health, and we can talk about youth and health, and then we remove exercise. And we all know that exercise is very important to prevent diseases and health issues as well. How can we exercise, and how can we get physical or benefit from exercise? Let me put the question in, how can we get mental benefit from exercise, not just physically, but mentally? How can we get that benefit?
Well, the first thing first, I wanted to just double down on the impact of COVID on young people. Firstly, COVID had, like you said, both positive and negatives. The one positive impact of COVID was that it helped young people to live safe, hygiene lifestyles. Now, many of us have not forgotten about washing our hands. All right, many of us have still not forgotten about the fact that you don't need to jam someone in a crowded place or in a work environment. You don't need to touch hard surfaces at will. So even though negatively it kept our friends away from us, our loved ones, and other things. So there are a lot of positives and negatives about that. But with regards to your question, how do we benefit from the mental aspect of physical exercise? The first thing first is that Liberia as a country, I stand to be corrected, but we have a very small or absolutely non-existent culture of exercise. In Liberia, there was a point in time in Liberia where you have young women who were taking some kind of drugs just to get them chubby. I don't want to use the word fat, right? And there was this misconception that when you look chubby, that means all is well with you. But unfortunately, you guys are from the medical field. You understand that someone is gaining weight, that is unhealthiness. There are even signs of unhealthiness. Sure. So when you exercise physically, that is the reason why for us over the last 8 to 10 years, we've been addicted to exercise. The first thing, how do you benefit from the mental aspect of physical exercise is one, you need to get addicted to exercise. A lot of us in Liberia will exercise by pleasure. Maybe on a Sunday, on the Saturday, and on holidays, or right after then, our beer in the cooler and our cold drinks and everything. Then right after then, we reverse all of the injury, like the accountants will say. That is for pleasure. If you want exercise to benefit you, you must get addicted. And addicted in a sense that, and there are various forms of exercises. One, you do the aerobic exercises which have to do with basically arousing your internal organs, your heart, your liver, your kidneys. That has to do with jumping, walking, swimming. These things help you out. Then you have the stretches. All right, you have the stretch. You have muscle gaining. You have others who, you see, guy, the man's a body man, right? Now he does muscle building exercises. And when you do all of those things help you in, the first thing it does, it helps you balance. It gives you a good sleep. After exercising, for us at 6-Pack Fitness Club, we do post-work exercises, meaning after work by 5:30 to 6:30, when you are tired from work, all the stress there, we allow you to waste, quote unquote, to put all of your stress at the exercise ground. When you go home, your mind is refreshed and you have a sound sleep. You woke up the next morning very refreshed again. So basically in Liberia, I think we need to adopt that culture of exercise, and not just the physical form, not just the pleasure. We do it. Studies have revealed that when you exercise for a complete 1 year, you become 1 year younger than your current self. And two, you must exercise at least 4 hours a week. 4 hours a week. You can divide that by 7 days, and you know how many hours or minutes you're supposed to be exercising for. But how many of us do that? All right, how many of us wake up in the morning and just do common sit-up or push-up or just a little bit of stretches? How many of us? So for us at the level of our fitness club, the first thing we tell you is that when you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is to drink warm water. There are a series of benefits of drinking warm water. It helps in eradicating constipation. It helps in weight loss and infections and a lot of other things. When you do that, we tell you to learn to detoxify your body. The lemon juice. And just a tip of that in the warm water, you get it off. You guys are the medical people, you know the benefit of that. So basically, as young people, you are at the prime of your life. It's like you bought a new car, and the mechanic advises you that you need to change the oil every month. But you decide that because the car is still fresh, and you don't want to be changing this oil every month, but you say maybe after every 6 months. What you're doing right there, you are overusing the car, and in less than no time, it will not live up to the actual time it's supposed to be living for. So as young people, when you are young, this is the best time to invest in your body. Like my sister said, you don't need to get fat before you exercise. In fact, when you are slim, that's the best time to exercise. Yeah.
Quickly before you move forward to our colleague, this is one unique thing sometimes that is so laughable. The football is so good. You have two physical exerciser coach here. My comment and that.
Yeah.
I've trained for almost 20 years now.
Good.
And even this morning I run the test before coming. But guess what? During the heat of the COVID, you notice that almost everyone was in the streets doing physical exercising and trying to burn the calorie. But trust me, take a look in the morning. You check people, you do a counting process, and you will not even reach 20. Now, so it's like our colleague said, it is not a point that we have cultivated that as a habit. And mind you, exercise is a discipline. That's why I always tell my colleague that once you have that discipline, then no one need to remind you, Commissaire don't need to remind you that you need to come at the top of this, sister don't need to remind you. Actually, because at that point in time, you have gotten so addictive. In the process of that, that's where growth is. Sometimes I tell my colleague that you have to do a burpee, you have to give me 20 burpee. And they say, you do want to kill? I said, no. The essence of this, now, the more, I was reading the magazine sometimes ago, and they say that the more you exercise, the less you go to the hospital.
Of course.
Mind you, I can't remember the last time I went to the hospital.
Just like
But
this.
yes, I do routine check. But trust me, to go to the hospital and be hospitalized for whatever, no. Once I'm feeling awkward, I just use the beach and burn the calorie. At the end of the day, I get my physical fitness back and normal posture.
That's good. Indeed, exercise is really good for the body because it helps in a lot of stuff. When you are stressed, you exercise, you feel relief. When you are happy, you exercise, you feel happy more. When you are in, let's say, trouble, you exercise. It just rests your mind. Like our brother said, it gives you good sleep, right? So let us move to Yana. So Miss Reese, I know you to be somebody that always advocating for increase in young tourists or tourism site, especially in our country, Liberia. From your perspective, what is the most important challenge in making this bridge of understanding between young tourists and that of our local culture when they visit them? Any idea of how to communicate ways to tackle these challenges?
Yeah, before I go to that, let me first of all just throw light on something I observed. He said during COVID, a lot of people were exercising a lot. So first of all, this is my observation, or this was my observation. They had nothing to do. There was a lockdown. Most people weren't working. They were working from home. So they just had to do that. And a lot of people were not used to just staying home. And you saw that. So as soon as they got back to the usual routine, when you tell people exercise, they're like, oh, I go to work. Walking to work and looking for a car, I exercise by itself.
Even from brush to business,
I know. Yeah. So, but it's very important. Okay, so tourism and young people. First of all, we need to understand our culture. You find out that a lot of people, we're losing our culture. We have no idea what certain sites are about, where they are located. If you don't know that about your country, how can you communicate that to outsiders, and how can you attract people? So first of all, let me say, every time you mention Liberia out there, the first thing that comes out is Civil War, Ebola. Both very negative.
Sure.
So how can we change the perspective of people out there, or the narrative? And I think it's on the shoulder of every young person. Because let me just tell you, and I want to say that this out loud so that people understand. Tourism has the ability to bring or generate a lot of money.
Sure.
Yeah, revenue. And believe it or not, you see countries like the Gambia, because I say that I always like to make reference, these people only have groundnuts. That's the major cash crop, right? But apart from that, do you know what really generated more revenue? It was tourism. Do your research, ask anywhere. Tourism. So if we decide that we are going to actually invest in that sector, then we are going to generate more revenue. And how can we do that? Everybody has smartphones right now. We can change the narrative. A simple hashtag of Liberia, West Africa, that can actually move it forward. And also, instead of saying, we have Zoko in the street, just all the negative things, if we can just, we ourselves need to change the narrative. Because you can have other people, someone is following me, I'm following them on Instagram. He's not a Liberian, but this guy, he like makes really good videos. When you see Liberia, you're in Liberia, you're wondering, okay, this is West Point, but how come I never saw it as beautiful as this? This is not a Liberian. We can make use of social media. We can post about these things. We can change the narrative out there. And it's going to benefit young people, because whatever Liberia becomes tomorrow is in our future. So if we don't help to make it better, then we're doing ourselves wrong. So all I think we should do is everybody, we need to change the narrative out there as a young person, and just make sure we're explaining what is happening now. We can help. We have the Blue Lake. It's so beautiful. We
Very
have,
beautiful.
yeah, you know, Duga right here, it has a very nice history to it, and the building might be old, but when you go in there, anybody who has been there, you notice that there's this very satisfying feeling. Even though it's old and it looks so, you go there and you try to imagine how it was before. those are things that we need to showcase out there. Liberia is very beautiful, and if we're not showing it as young people, we're just like talking about, okay, everybody has an organization helping or advocating. I think we should pay attention to the tourism sector.
To attract more people.
Yeah,
to
to
come
attract
to
more
our
people.
country.
Because the more people
Because our
come, the more
country
investors
invest.
come in.
Yes.
We have job opportunities for young people. You know how many young people sitting there and not doing anything? You graduated from school, you don't have jobs, and people be like, oh, who know you? That's how you get jobs. But if we attract people to come in, that's also creating opportunities for us, because the more they come, you have more job opportunities because they're here. And you have some people who can make a living out of being a tour guide.
Sure.
So if you just learn about your country and learn about all these important places, you can be able to generate money for yourself just being a tour guide and just utilizing the internet. So yeah.
Indeed, in Liberia we have a very, very historical site. Look
Yeah.
at the Patawi River side, that
The
beautiful
waterfall.
waterfall. So we have a very, very strategic area that we can really post off as of Liberia. But again, are we taking good care of it? That's the question.
Maintenance
And
issue.
yeah, we all need to come together as young people to at least change the narrative. And in changing the narrative, we have to get a positive mindset.
Sure.
Because we can change our country with the same old one in the same bottom. So that move to Amos. Looking at the pandemic, because I like to make reference to coronavirus, especially when it comes to Liberian youth. It's saying violence and crime among young people has increased during the pandemic. What can be done to desist youth from doing this act?
You know, actually, this issues is a very, very intriguing issues. Now, you know, I've been doing a research, and very soon my findings will be out. Imagine if we have, I'm from my district number 9 to be precise. And in my research, I've got to understand that that place have about 30 ghettos, which we refer to as gaps. Now, and this is a serious growing concern. I don't know how many of you are really following this issue. Now, so let's assume that we live in Maserado. All of us in this room live in Maserado. And if we have 17 districts in this Maserado County. And only if we have 10 ghettos, let's take out a minimum, 10 ghettos, we have how many ghettos? 170 ghettos. And mind you, if you were to visit those ghettos, the guys don't move alone. They move in pairs and they are on a recruitment spree. This is a fundamental issue that needs all of us concerned as young people, no matter where the device we find ourselves. Now, and if one person were to take 10% in that ghetto, trust me, it's like you want to sell a product. A single customer has the ability to attract 9 customers. So if this guy is doing it, and mentally I may not be strong to resist that force or forces, I could follow him. I also recruit another person. So this issue actually increases crime. Mind you now, we are all at stake here. Because I could be working, sometimes come from city or class late, and all of a sudden someone just give me your phone or give me your luggages or your whatsoever you have on you.
And traumatize you.
And at the end of the day, you are traumatized. So this is a concern, but this issue is actually a holistic issue and we need a serious approach to this. This is where national government and key policy actors must act. Because if we do an analysis in the next 10 years from now, trust me, we will all be rich in this country.
Sure.
We all will be rich. Because if we have 17 districts and all of those districts have 10 ghettos, we have 170. Mind you now, let's assume we also have 10% on a recruitment spree. If we do the math, trust me, in no time, in 5-6 years time, we expect it to be somewhere around 2, 3, 4, 5,000 what? Zogos. It is something that we must actually, and this is where it beats my imagination that people keep the people on this prayer to use them when time arises. So this is a concern. And this issue has to be all policymakers, health workers, health practitioners, the government of Liberia, the legislature, whosoever found themselves, because these people are our future leaders. Now, it was starting to note that people leave high school and tend to be Zogos. People leave universities and tend to be what? Zogos. So where are we headed? And this is something that sometimes I don't know. I have visited ghetto. You hear one ghetto called Zimbabwe? Can you imagine Mexico? Afghanistan. Eh?
In Liberia.
Oh my God.
Emma, just to take from you there, a renowned scholar said, a just society that does not provide for the majority who are rich or the majority who are poor, it cannot protect the minority who are rich.
Certainly.
Sure.
And the reason is simple. For me, I would like to put this squarely on the shoulders of government. We need to visit the drugs law. It is a non-bailable crime. Drugs, overdose of drugs or misuse of narcotics is a bailable crime right now. I think there is a need to visit it to make it a non-bailable. With that, we will be saving a whole generation. I know somebody will say it will lead to recidivism and where people will not be persecuted or how to bring back them. But then, where do you stand? Where is the externality? Where do you stand to benefit from? For me, I believe that the drugs law is so weak and we need to revisit it. I was born in Claratown and live in Claratown. I am a typical definition of somebody born in the ghetto. I'm not talking about the peripheral definition of people who just want to identify with people who are born in the ghetto.
Sure.
My father's house,
Yes.
it's just a stoop throw away from the ghetto. Where when the guys are smoking, we receive the back blast, quote unquote. The point remains that we are losing a generation. My brother said 10 years from now, you will have these very people who will be prone to crime, where they are already criminals, and they are prone to crime, and 10 years from now, they become more liabilities to society. And I say this to you, I have been a classroom teacher, and it was so unfortunate 2 weeks ago, and I took a tour in Claratown. And unfortunately, I saw 2 of my former students in the ghetto. I don't want to say finished, but they need serious rehabilitation.
Certainly.
Their speeches are impaired, their memories are losing up, and we are losing them. That is a productive
Someone
sector.
can be very smart.
And trust me,
Extremely.
other than recognize me. And you want to see the embarrassment as a former teacher of, I don't know whether the society failed or I as an institute, as a former
As a
instructor
former
failed.
instructor.
I don't know where did I stand by then?
Yeah.
Am I the one responsible or society? So for me, I see this to be a very serious issue, and the earlier we tackle this, the better it gets for us. Trust me, Mama, you will not believe it. Some of those that you graduated with, you see them in the ghetto, they are completely different. They look different than you, the way they talk, the way the things they uttered. You don't want to believe that somebody will have no shine on, no slip on, and the person tells you that he's feeling wise, he's feeling achieved, and you know he's a big shot. You know that he's not with himself. So for me, I think this is a serious issue, and we are losing a generation to drugs. And the earlier we tackle it, I don't know how much the central government is doing it. We know there are rehabilitation centers being built, but then it's like you are addressing the symptom,
And not dealing with
The cause.
the cause. So you build 100 rehabilitation centers. At the same time, the drug law is so weak.
So weak.
You have people who are importing drugs in this country and giving out to the young people. And these are the young people, and the few who are privileged, they want to ride in their Mercedes and their tinted windshields, and they don't want, and they refer to that as Zogos. So the society will not protect the few that has it, because the majority seem to be poor and the majority is not being cared for. For me, I think I'm very passionate about this, and it is really, really a heart-wrenching issue. We need to address this because Liberia's future is at stake. I take this very personally.
And the disheartening part of all is that you see women, young girls,
Oh, yeah.
potential young women, beautiful young women, all into the ghetto and smoking these things. It's really, really frustrating sometimes when you see a beautiful girl or beautiful young boy, very brilliant, and then you see them in the ghetto, especially Claratown, because I live Claratown. So I can set reference to that because I know. So if you're listening to the show this morning, we are on Youth and Health. If you want to be part of the discussions, the number to call is 0770-107-107, 0886-107-107. You can call and share your experience with us. If you live in a ghetto before, you can also call and tell us what you experienced in the ghetto. Or if you're a healthy person, you can also call and tell us what is your remedy, what is your schedule for your healthy lifestyles. So the numbers to call is 0770-107-107, 0886-107-107. If you're outside Liberia and you're watching on our Facebook Live and you want to be part of this all-important discussion, our WhatsApp number is +231-880-571-223. So you can call our WhatsApp number any state, any part of the world, and be part of the discussion. So I'll come back to you, Mrs. Suare, while we are waiting our quarters. You talked something in, you said we should exercise and we shouldn't eat much. Eating a very tiny meal is very important after every workout. It is recommended that we eat no longer than 45 minutes after our workout. Now, Mr. Suare, can you please tell us or explain to us why this is so that we eat right after a workout and no longer than 45 minutes?
Yeah, the first thing first, we must clarify, no trainer should advise you not to eat or not to eat heftily.
Sure.
All right, you're supposed to eat, but a trainer who is well experienced to tell you that eat heftily, know when to eat and how to eat it. And for us at the exercise ground at Six Pack Fitness Club, the first thing you do when you come to us, we tell you first thing we do after filling in the form, we'll ask you for your medical history, and when that is established, it means that we can subject you to a certain form of exercises. But we'll tell you that the way you want your body to be, 80% of the way you want your body to be comes from what you eat. The exercise is just 20%. So what we tell you easily is that the first thing is that we ask you for your habit. Do you drink alcohol? Oh yes, I drink alcohol occasionally, okay, normally every weekend, or everything like that. Do you eat all these fast food and all these things, junk food and all the stuff? So we know the entire thing. The first advice we give you, all right, for the first 2 weeks, we ask you to just drop the alcohol for the first 2 weeks. And you hear some murmuring and other things. I say, okay, but then if you can drink 3 times a week, just drop it to 1 time or 2 times. Because one thing is, we a lot of young people, and this is very key, a lot of young people are alcoholics in Liberia. And I say this with emphasis. We have more entertainment centers than churches we have here, or mosques. And who are the regular goers there? Young people.
Young people.
So alcohol is very key. Alcohol leads to weight gain. All right. And we tell you, how do you eat it? You know, we've eaten a lot of carbohydrates in this country. We eat rice every time. We eat it 3 times a day.
Our staple food.
Cassava. We don't eat balanced meal already. So what we tell you, okay, drop the carbohydrate, starchy food and other things for the first 2 weeks. We tell you, forget about the sweet, forget about the fatty food, the french fries, the burger, the shawarma and all these things. And that's what we troop onto. And we think that these foods are healthy, right? But technically, in health-wise, they are not healthy, especially so we don't have an exercise culture. So the point is, they will advise you that if you have to eat, do not eat any heavy meal after 5:30. Because what happens, you are close to their time, and you need food that digests easily while you are asleep. If you eat, trust me, every one of us here in the room, we used to do it. You eat heavy rice, you drink cold water, and you sit in front of the camera at the television. The television will be watching you instead of you watching it, because it induces sleep. And when you are sleeping, digestion is very slow. And what it does in the body right there, it accumulates what we call lipids, and lipids leads to fat. So right away you have weight gain. And 2, we advise you on alcohol. Excess, mainly beer. Sorry, I don't want to take away from the beer companies, but it protrudes the stomach. All right, and many of us in Liberia, the health practitioners are listening. They can confirm this. This is an unadulterated evidence. Many young people in Liberia right now are suffering from liver diseases. Liver diseases is on the rise.
Sure.
Hepatitis B is on the rise. So the first thing we tell you, please go and do your hepatitis B test and take the vaccine. So because you get it through sex, body fluid exchange, and all the other things like that. So, and when you are an alcoholic and you contract hepatitis, which is a liver disease, and the impact of the alcohol on the liver, automatically you destroy your liver. And that's why before you let the person drop and they start to pay off, the next thing is, but they pushing the ball. So in this, they pushing the ball. So in this modern age, who passing around with alligator gun under their nails and put them in people's drinks? Even those that can drink, all right? When they are about to go in the bathroom, they carry their alcohol with them. So you are poisoning yourself. Nobody from the interior, wherever, poisoning people. So we say to you, eat healthily, and the lifestyle you live, your body is a temple. My Christian friends say it's a temple of God, right? Okay, whatever you put into it is what God looks at. So you consume enough alcohol. The body itself has alcohol. The more alcohol you take, it goes beyond the level. And my sister earlier mentioned you need to know your body, how it works for you. You need to know your body mass index. At your height, your weight, there's an average weight per your height.
And your age.
And your age. If you see that, and let me give you this conventional one. Whenever your waistline crosses 38, it means that you are growing towards obesity. I mean 38. When you cross 38, you are going towards obesity. So a lot of young people, for example, when they come over there, especially females, with no offense, they will say, okay, we just want to drop my belly and grow some abs, and there's a way they can describe it. So I say, okay, come on, we can do all of that for you, but provided you become committed in your mind and eat healthily. When I say, okay, please drop the alcohol for just few days, the reaction is different. So the lifestyle we live determines how well our body responds to us. A lot of our friends drink alcohol. They take cigarettes, shisha. We don't want to take offense from, take away from these entities. But your body, you consuming everything. There's research conducted. Shisha seems to be more dangerous than cigarette. But how many young people know that? All right, go in the Vera bars. Take shisha. So somebody said, there's a professor that says, you take a whole drum of cigarette, then just a single barrel of shisha. Yeah. So that's the kind of thing that are happening for us. So if we want to live a healthy lifestyle, if we want to pursue our dreams, we want to achieve our objectives in life as young people, your body is that temple you need to invest in first. Build your body. We don't have money now to build our houses, but build your body, and that body will build the mind, and the mind will support the dreams and aspirations that you seek for.
Definitely.
Let me just throw light, and this is like realistic thing, right?
Good.
What we call shisha is normally known as hookah.
Good.
The smoke that you inhale can contain 36 times more tar than cigarette smoke.
Yes.
That's 15 times the carbon monoxide and 70% more nicotine than one cigarette.
Yes.
So shisha smokers may absorb more toxins and cancer-causing chemicals than cigarette smokers. So you find out that you go to the clubs and the bars, a lot of young people, it's a sport. If you don't do it, you don't belong.
Yeah. No.
So here's the thing, right? You might say that, I don't drink a lot of alcohol, I don't smoke cigarettes, but I'm smoking shisha. And we all know now, the bowling and the chilling is a regular thing from outside. Everybody do it. We just do it all the time. And when you go out, sometimes the bar run out of shisha.
Sure. Right, certainly.
And we're smoking it, we're asking for a refill, we're asking for more coal. You have no idea what you're doing, only for you to blame it on your villagers tomorrow that they're chasing you and they killed you. And you find this among a lot of young people. If we are destroying our health now, trust me, anything you do now, there is a consequence in the future, whether you believe it or not. And the body was built in the way you take care of it when you're younger, it determines how you're going to end up when you're older. So you find a lot of young people dying more these days instead of even the old people.
Sure.
And we're not concerned as to what is causing it, we're causing it ourselves. So I just want what I just read, the information I read out. Every time you're about to smoke shisha, just think about it, reflect on it, and if you still go ahead and smoke it, then I want you to know.
And one of the key things again in our society is not just them that smoking it, but we, the ordinary people that don't even know how to smoke, and we heading in the call the secondary smokers. So we are even more affected than even them. And this is why they don't know. You see, most people passing in public. Before, I used to hear that public smoking is gone.
Yeah.
But these days, you see people passing in public with their cigarette in their hand, or when you go to entertainment center, you see shisha, and even when you tell the person, say, can you just trash beyond someone, they feel offended. They feel that they're supposed to, it's their right, that we're in the right business now.
It is
their right. So Ellen, let us talk about Yena a little bit. You got how do I put it, a work series that you interview young people, especially try to sell Liberian tourism sites outside Liberia to make it more attractive for people to come in. So what impact does it have on our young people in Liberia?
So first of all, Yena is basically anything that has to do with arts, culture, history, entertainment. And the main intent is actually to showcase that there are some positive or a lot of positive things about Liberia. And we're trying to expand it to West Africa because you see that Liberian musicians are now collaborating with Nigerian musicians
Nigerian.
and all that.
Sierra Leone.
Yeah, and you also see other West African countries, their tourism sector is really great. And how can you collaborate and all that? So Yena, it's a web series and it's on YouTube. So meaning it's universal, international. It's not just Liberian based. So you can just go on YouTube and just say the Liberian Heritage Society or Heritage TV, and you see all the videos there. So a couple of our videos, I went to Sunset Beach, and that's in Buchanan City. It was my first time going there, surprisingly. And I saw this, it's not yet built like other resorts, but you just see the natural view, nature there is just so awesome. And you look at this and you're like, okay, Liberia is so beautiful, but how many people really know about this place? And you cannot know about it unless you see it. So when we post our videos, you see a lot of comments from people out of the country who have been out of the country for a very long time, and they're like, there's a really great initiative, now it makes me want to come back, I miss my country. Because a lot of people don't want to come back because they feel like Liberia is just you just see a lot of remains of the war and all that. So the impact it has is it showcases and it advertises and it also attracts. So that's our main focus. And the culture and history related aspect is just basically allowing young people to know about the culture, the heritage, and also the history of their country, because that is something we lack. Especially for some people who were refugees and went out of the country to school, like me, I know nothing about Liberia, I'm just learning. So if you have a lot of people like that, and you have such a web series that focuses on those things, it also helps with that. Yeah, and we try to make it in the best fun way possible. When I had her as my guest, we try to make it fun, because people don't really like the traditional method of just sitting down and just so today we're talking about health. No. If it's interactive and if it's fun and lively, it makes it grows the interest of continuing to watch it.
Sure.
So that's just
Definitely. And most of the time you also encourage young people, especially young Liberians, to also sell it out to the world and tell them that yes, Liberians who can do this.
Yeah, sure.
So now come back to Amos. Amos, looking at you now, pursuing another degree in health, in public health management.
Dated.
And I have second master there. A second master. I see that doing a PhD.
He's a reservoir of
I know, and
degrees.
he's so young.
Very young. That's what got me surprised. I said, wow, a young guy.
Actually,
So, what are some challenges that you face, especially when it comes to the healthy lifestyles?
like we all have said over time that this is a serious issue. For me, that is why I don't joke with health. I'm very conscious of what I eat. How do I exercise? I exercise from Monday to that of Saturday. Sunday, I use the body to develop. Now, the issue of health, like I've said, and my colleague have rightfully stated, that this is an issue that we all must be very conscious about. And we are at the point to understand that without health, trust me, we cannot do anything. So relatively, we must strive to live a healthy life, to have a balance of what we want to achieve. Like my comrade said, it is at this point in time that you as an individual must progress. If you can't build a house, why not build the what? The body. Now, like you see at a level of Inspired Talk that I serve as the leader for, I always tell my colleague that the mind is the biggest platform for two things, for either the good or what? The bad. So in this case, it places us in the position to either decide which way do we want to go.
Of course.
Now, if I just consume anything, now, mind you, in Liberia, people get to know that when your stomach is big, then you are enjoying it. So it is average. That is just the contrast. A real healthy person is the one who you see in most cases are very slender, and who exercise well, who know what he or she eats, and in no time that person will live a longer life than the one who you see somewhere somehow difficult to sit in the chair. Now, if someone who in this place was so far among the three of us as panelists here, you have struggled because now see the condition we're operating on. you understand? They will have been struggling because there's a weight. Now, when you fart, it places heavy load on your heart.
True.
Whenever your body weight, your heart is under pressure. So because of that, you are not far from being carried to out of one of the mortuary. So what I think we must do, alcohol consumption, how frequent we consume alcohol.
That is the most abused drug in Liberia.
If it is an issue for us to deal with, let's look at it, try to minimize our consumption. The issue of those narcotic drugs that we talk about, that our border interests have become so vulnerable beyond all fears. Now this is why my colleague said, we must actually deal with this issue. Trust me, it pains my heart to the largest level. And sometimes I get so disgusted and I said to myself, in most cases, that we are rakes. So, trust me, why would you go on a blanket? Now, the guy's chasing smoke. Have you seen the guy chasing smoke?
Oh yeah.
When you enter those gaps, the guy chases smoke. Do you know what I mean, chasing smoke? This is a very serious issue. And you as a health practitioner and we in the policy area of this issue, this is something that needs all of us urgent, and this is a matter of urgency. Not a point for us to feel so, we're so careless about it, because it has to do with our future. Because these people are interacting with us on a daily basis. What can we do for them? What solution are we want to provide? Now, we must provide that solution. We must be that solution-oriented people. Now, that provide lasting solution. This is what we want to do at Inspired Talk. There's a need for us to re-straighten our law or revisit our laws. One, there's a need for us to rehabilitate them. Two, there's a need for us to give them the necessary skills. With those three major framework in place, trust me, we can actually deal with them. But if we were to just take them to the rehabilitation center and leave them, now we're still bringing them back in the not too distant future. So once we have a stronger law in place, trust me, we have a rehabilitation center very active. We have various skills of vocational center. Trust me, they are the point to become a better citizen and contribute to this country. Because this is the only country we have. And for us to live a happy life, we must protect it beyond all reasonable doubt. And this is the urgency that all of us around this table, as young and youthful leaders in this country that contributed to national growth and development, we must put our hands on that.
Definitely. We all need to work together to change this dynamic, because it's really frustrating to see young people going on the exiles. And when these things happen, the meaning the country is at greater risk. It's not at risk, but greater risk. So time is fast spent. We almost to the conclusions of today's edition of Health Talk. But before closing this all important topic, I would like for Mr. Soare, what advice do you have for the young people out there listening to you?
So many advice, so many pieces of advice, but just in summary, your body is your wealth that you need to take care of. Either you grow that wealth or you squander that wealth. The living condition you find yourself, you can better it or you make it worse depending on what you do with it. Exercise culture needs to be adopted. You don't need to run 10,000 miles, no. You just need early morning, you wake up, just make sure your body is in motion and do something that benefits you. Two, your lifestyle. If you are becoming addicted to alcohol, you need to drop it. If you are not eating healthily, you need to practice healthy eating. And the activities you involve yourself with have tremendous impact on your body, on your thinking ability, on whatever you want to achieve. So for us at the level of the Six Pack Fitness and Athletic Club, we want to use this medium to urge every young person, old or stay in their thing, to ensure that exercise becomes an addiction. Do not exercise for pleasure. Exercise because your body needs it. It's like a car. You need to change the engine oil. You need to do everything in order to keep that car moving in a healthy, position. So let's do that and do everything possible to ensure that your body is what you take care of moving forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So let's move to Ms. Reese. Ms. Reese, your closing statement in that of your parting comment.
Well, what I think is, so people see me in the street, let me just say this. People see me in the street and be like, oh, I like your shades. So sometimes in the night, be like, literally bluffing with shades. People don't understand that there's actually aid in my eyes. And here's something people don't. There's the importance of observing your body and knowing your body. I was 8 years old, and my mom had no idea my eye had a problem. My aunt was the one who realized that, because every time I would leave the chair, sit on the floor, closer to the television, and just scream my eyes like this, and she's like, "We need to check it out." And I remember I was 8. They took me to the hospital, and the doctor like put my eye to a machine and started calling all his other friends to come see, because he was shocked. And they said I had error in my eyes, and I started wearing glasses. So a lot of people will be like, "Oh, my eyes is hurting, but I don't want to wear glasses." We need to understand our body. We need to take the right precaution to like making ourselves or living a healthy lifestyle. So knowing your body is very important as a young person. And please, it's very important to exercise. Exercise is very important. You don't have to go to the gym. There are apps that you can download. There are exercises you can do. And even the ones you remember from school in like high school PE, you can do those things. It's very good and it's very important. And also healthy eating. We are very lucky to have a lot of organic food here. We have it, and we need to know how to eat a balanced diet. We learned that in schools, and it was not just the pass. I think it was because we were supposed to apply it.
Sure.
Yeah, it's not like the mathematics formula that most of it we don't really know how to apply, but those ones are very important because it is required for you to live a healthy lifestyle. So let's watch what we eat. Let's watch what we take in our body, because we might be really like intoxicating our bodies, and it's very bad for our health.
Sure.
And stop blaming our village people. So that's very important. Yeah.
Indeed, stop blaming our village people because we are the problem of our own cause.
Yeah.
So Amos, let's just hear your closing
Well,
statement,
again, it's a pleasure to be here with Reeves, Commissaire, and the host. I think we have a great responsibility thereof, so we must keep doing this as often as possible, providing the necessary education to our younger generation, because I believe that we must be that solution-oriented leaders that want to make impact in the lives of our younger generation. Because once upon a time, I remember Commissaire and I was in Claretie, going off somewhere around Jabuke, playing football together, you know.
Exactly.
And then you know that we have been today making impact in the lives of people.
Sure.
He's a lecturer as well. I also am another lecturer, you know. And it's so fascinating. And sometimes when we go Claretie, some of our colleagues here, and they get so excited that we are making some level of stride. So I think we took a decision, and this is where we have gotten now. So we must also encourage. If other people have not encouraged us, we'll now been to where we are.
Right.
So it is a responsibility thereof that we must deal with the sense of urgency and collaborate with various agencies and see where we are. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure.
Thank you so much. This is how we come to the conclusion of today's edition of Health Talk. We would like to say thank you, a very big thank you to our guest in studio for at least taking us through this all important discussion. We want to say thank you to Hot FM. This show is proudly brought to you by Honorable DJ Blue. Thank you, Honorable DJ Blue, for alerting us time in studio to always discuss health issues that are affecting us in our respective community. We want to take this time to say thank you to our viewers. Thank you to all of our listeners. I want to leave these 3 things with you. This is very important. Investing in the health of young people generate triple benefits. Healthy young people now, healthy future. Healthy future, healthy generation. So we all have to work together to see how best we can support our young people. We all have to get together to see how best we can protect the young people future. Because when we empower these young people, we'll have a healthy adult and we'll have a healthy generation. And we'll have a healthy generation, we'll have a healthy culture. My name is Mama Elupe. Thank you so much for being well. Do have a blessing weekend.